Memo في جميع أنحاء جنوب السودان. Looking for the perfect radio partner? iRadio is your answer. Why choose iRadio? Here are the 5 compiling reasons.
Trust and reach. iRadio stands as the most trusted.
Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good morning. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. President Salva Kiir has appointed former Upper Nile State Governor James Kong Chol as Deputy Defense Minister and dismissed the commander of the Presidential Guards Unit while also making changes in the Ministry of East African Affairs. A health advocate has warned a rise in malaria and cholera cases is threatening lives in Dukpadje, Jonglei State following the withdrawal of a critical health support services and a growing shortage of medical supplies. The special court trying the suspended first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and 7 co-accused granted permission on Monday for third accused, Gadwej Lam, a member of parliament representing Nasir County of Upper Nile State, to visit his family and offer condolences following the death of his brother-in-law. This is stories and more coming to in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. President Salva Kiir has appointed former Upper Nile State Governor James Kong Chol as Deputy Defense Minister of Defense and dismissed the commander of the Presidential Guards Unit while also making changes in the Ministry of East African Affairs. In a series of decrees read on the state television SSBC on Monday evening, General Philip Nyon was removed as head of the Elite Tiger Division and replaced by Major General Valentino Bak Makwei. Meanwhile, General James Kong Chol, who was recently relieved as Governor of Upper Nile State, has been appointed Deputy Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs. In the Ministry of East African Affairs, Deng Alor Kwol was relieved and replaced by Ben Gideon, who was also relieved of his previous role as Undersecretary in the same ministry. A health advocate has warned rise in malaria and cholera cases is threatening lives in Dukpadje, Jonglei State following the withdrawal of critical health support services and a growing shortage of medical supplies. Arak Simon has called on the government to urgently intervene, warning that the situation is worsening daily due to the lack of medicines and equipment. He said, and I quote, "Malaria and cholera have taken advantage of the situation, claiming innocent lives on a daily basis without any medical intervention because of the shortage of medical supplies." Photos shared on social media show dozens of patients lying on the ground in the open, some with IV drips attached, underscoring the severity of the crisis and the collapse of health services in the area. The primary health care center in Padjet Payam, which had been the main facility supporting the community, has run out of essential drugs and is struggling to respond to the growing health crisis. The crisis has deepened after the John Dow Foundation withdrew from operating the Padjet PHC on June 30, 2025, following funding cuts by the United States. The organization had been managing the health facilities since September 2024. Arak Simon is urging both the state and national authorities to restore services and restock the health center to prevent further loss of life. The special court trying the suspended first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and 7 co-accused granted permission on Monday for the third accused, Gadwej Lam, Member of Parliament representing Nasir County of Upper Nile State, to visit his family and offer condolences following the death of his brother-in-law. The court's decision followed an application by the defense team which also requested access for all accused persons to seek essential medical attention. Defense lawyer Kur Lwal informed the court that the accused have not received any medical care since their arrest and urged the bench to consider their health conditions. In addition to medical access, the defense team requested the court to provide a Nuer language translator for 2 of the accused, arguing that they do not adequately understand English or Arabic to follow the proceedings effectively. In response, the court affirmed the right of the accused to be provided with a translator to ensure their trial proceedings. The rulings address key concerns raised by the defense regarding the constitutional rights and welfare of the accused persons. A former Warab state governor warned that the surge in vigilante groups signals the emergence of Gen Z armed youth demanding national attention, arguing the phenomenon is a direct result of the government's failure to prioritize young people. Speaking at his Stone International Church in Juba over the weekend, General Aliu urged Presidential Special Envoy Adut Salva Kiir to elevate youth programs to be a central part of her special agenda. He stated that youth empowerment must become a special project for the president. He said, and I quote, "I am one of the people who is so worried. I have no future. The reason is we didn't give youth the concern they need. Now our youth coming up after the Red Army are the niggers, the crew, these cattle wrestlers, the White Army, including the new thing we call the Red Belt, are the generation of this group." General Ali warned that this so-called Generation Z is going to destroy this country if we are not careful because we neglected them. The former governor expressed deep concern that the generation following a legendary Red Army, the young revolutionaries who contributed to the country's liberation, has been forgotten by both the government and the original freedom fighters. He noted that they have been left without proper guidance, support, or inclusion in national development plans since independence. General Aliu's remarks underscore the urgency for the leadership to prioritize youth development as a national agenda that is crucial for the country's stability and future. His comment come amid growing unemployment, frustration, and social discontent among the youth, which continues to pose serious challenges to peace and nation-building efforts. This is Radio Morning News. And now to the international scene, the U.S. has deported 10 people to Eswatini despite rights groups in Southern Africa state mounting legal action to block the plan. This is the second batch of deportees that the Trump administration has sent to Eswatini as part of its hardline approach towards immigration. Eswatini's prison department said in a statement that the 10 have been securely accommodated and posed no threat to the public. Finally, indirect talks aim at reaching a final agreement on a U.S. peace plan to end the war in Gaza set to continue on Tuesday in the Egyptian city of Sharm el-Sheikh. Palestinian and Egyptian officials have told the BBC that the sessions are focused on creating the field conditions for a possible exchange that would see the release of all Israeli hostages in their return for a number of Palestinian prisoners. Israel's Prime Minister said on Saturday that he hoped to announce the release of hostages in the coming days. As the officials met on Monday, U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters at the White House, "We have a really good chance of making a deal. It will be a lasting deal." This is our Radio Morning News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. President Salva Kiir has appointed former Upper Nile State Governor James Kong Chol as Deputy Defense Minister and dismissed the commander of the Presidential Guards Unit, while also making changes in the Ministry of East African Affairs. A health advocate has warned rise in malaria and cholera cases is threatening lives in Dukpadi, Jonglei State, following the withdrawal of critical health support services and a growing shortage of medical supplies. And the special court trying the suspended first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and 7 co-accused granted permission on Monday for the third accused, Gadwech Lam, Member of Parliament representing Nasir County of Upper Nile State, to visit his family and offer condolences following the death of his brother-in-law. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there is a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 It's also a WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 8 o'clock. I'm Lasuba Memo. Thanks for listening.